Gerry was brought into the world in 1744 at Marblehead, Mama, the third of 12 youngsters. His mom was the girl of a Boston vendor. His dad, a well-off and politically dynamic dealer-transporter who had once been an ocean chief. After moving on from Harvard in 1762, Gerry joined his dad and two siblings in the privately run company, sending out dried codfish to Barbados and Spain. He entered the Pilgrim Council, 1772–74, where he went under the impact of Samuel Adams, and partook in the Marblehead and Massachusetts panels of correspondence. At the point when Parliament shut Boston Harbor in June 1774, Marblehead turned into a significant port of passage for provisions gave by loyalists all through the states to ease Bostonians, and Gerry helped transport the products. Somewhere in the range of 1774 and 1776, Gerry went to the First and Second Commonplace Congresses. He presented with Samuel Adams and John Hancock on the Board of Well-being and, as executive of the Panel of Supply, a task for which his vendor foundation obviously fit him, wherein he raised troops and managed military coordinated operations. The evening of April 18, 1775, Gerry went to a gathering of the Chamber of Security at a hotel in Menotomy, Arlington, among Cambridge and Lexington, and scarcely got away from the English soldiers walking on Lexington and Harmony. In 1776, Gerry entered the Mainland Congress, where his legislative specialities were military and monetary issues. In Congress and all through his profession, his activities frequently seemed disconnected. He procured the moniker and quat, warrior's companion and quat, for his backing of better compensation and hardware, yet he swayed on the issue of benefits. Notwithstanding his dissatisfaction with regards to standing armed forces, he suggested long-haul enrollments. Until 1779, Gerry sat on and now and again managed the legislative board that directed mainland funds. After a squabble about the cost plan for providers, Gerry, himself a provider, left Congress. Albeit ostensibly apart, he didn't return for a very long time. Meanwhile, he took part in exchange and privateering and served in the lower place of the Massachusetts Assembly. As a delegate in Congress in the years 1783–85, Gerry numbered among the people who had ability as progressive fomenters and wartime pioneers, however, who couldn't usefully adapt to the meticulous undertaking of balancing out the public government. He was capable and faithful, yet made numerous foes with his absence of humor, doubt of the thought processes of others, and over-the-top feeling of dread toward political and military oppression. In 1786, the year subsequent to leaving Congress, he resigned from business, wedded Anne Thompson, and sat down in the state lawmaking body. Gerry was one of the most vocal representatives at the Protected Show of 1787. He directed, as administrator of the council that created the incomparable trade-off, yet loathed the trade-off itself. He irritated almost everybody by his irregularity and, as indicated by a partner, and quat, had a problem with all that he didn't propose, and quat, at initial a supporter of a solid focal government. Gerry eventually dismissed and would not sign the Constitution since it missing the mark on Bill of Privileges, and in light of the fact that he considered it a danger to republicanism. He drove the drive against approval in Massachusetts and reproved the archive as and quat, brimming with indecencies, and quat, among the indecencies he recorded lacking portrayal of individuals, hazardously vague regulative powers, the mixing of the leader and the administrative, and the risk of a severe legal executive. Gerry saw some legitimacy in the Constitution, however, and accepted that its defects could be helped through revisions. In 1789, after he declared his expectation to help the Constitution, he was chosen for the principal Congress where, to the dismay of the Anti-Federalists, he supported Federalist arrangements. Gerry left Congress once and for all in 1793 and resigned for a considerable length of time. During this period he came to question the points of the Federalists, especially their endeavors to sustain a partnership with England, and favored the supportive of French majority-rule conservatives. In 1797 President John Adams delegated him as the just non-Federalist individual from a three-man commission accused of arranging a compromise with France, which was about to start a major world conflict battle with the U.S. During the resulting XYZ issue, 1797–98, Gerry discolored his standing. Talleyrand, the French unfamiliar priest, persuaded him to think that his presence in France would forestall war, and Gerry waited on lengthy after the flight of John Marshall and Charles Cotesworth Pinckney, the two different chiefs. At last, the humiliated Adams reviewed him, and Gerry met extreme rebuke from the Federalists upon his return. In 1800 to 1803 Gerry, never extremely famous among the Massachusetts electorate on account of his noble haughtiness, met rout in 4 offers for the Massachusetts governorship yet at last prevailed in 1810. Close to the furthest limit of his 2 terms, scarred by hardliner debate, the popularity-based conservatives passed a redistricting measure to guarantee their mastery of the state senate. Accordingly, the Federalists loaded disparage on Gerry and begat the joke and quat, manipulate and quat, to portray the lizard-like state of one of the re-districted regions. Regardless of his old age, fragile well-being, and the danger of neediness welcomed on by disregard of individual issues, Gerry filled in as James Madison's VP in 1813. In the fall of 1814, the 70-year-old legislator imploded while heading to the Senate and kicked the bucket. He left his better half, who was to live until 1849, the last enduring widow of an underwriter of the Statement of Freedom, as well as 3 children and 4 girls. Gerry is covered in Legislative Graveyard at Washington, D.C.